Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. On this channel we cut through the hype and the noise and we give you the non-biased information you can use to make informed decisions. And guys, in this video we're going to touch base on more good news that just keeps coming out of Hedera. Now we're also going to touch base on some of the things the CEO of Drop has talked about as far as payment rails around the globe. A lot of people have a misunderstanding, including me, in the last year or so, of how the so-called banking reset was going to look. And I own all the banking tokens. I'm still bullish. They're going to get their share. But a year ago, I thought when that reset happened, which is already well on the way, I thought no matter which token won, whatever the money rails that the world uses, I'm going to win and I'm going to capitalize on that. Well guys, the payment rails are already set. Those banking tokens are just going to help them facilitate global payments, and the rails are not going to change. The American banks and the banks around the world already have instant settlement. They already have the rails, and basically they just need the bridges or the gateways or the roads to put all that together. But the settlement issues and the main infrastructure is already in place. The banking reset is well on the way, and the power players like the legacy banks and Swift and MoneyGram and PayPal, they are just going to keep gobbling up the lion's share. They are not going to surrender it. The disruption is not going to happen. They are using that technology to move themselves forward, and they're just going to dominate more and more for whatever that's worth. But we're going to touch base and hear about Drops. Drops is the partner that has partnered with Hedera and HBAR, and they were just showcased with the FEDNOW. Guys, they are going to be a power player, and HBAR is in the center of everything they do. Check this out.
Drop is a micro-payment platform, an extremely cost-effective platform that was built on Hedera Hashgraph's distributed ledger, but we also use regulated banking technology to make this payment platform happen, right? So that you can make payments in Web3 digital currencies, and you can also make payments in fiat, specifically currently US dollar, USD, right? So what's happening in the world in general, and some part of our vision is driven by the global emergence of real-time payments by the banking industry. In Brazil, you have PIX. In India, they have UPI, which has become very, very popular and become de facto standard there. And in the United States, we have two instant payment rails. One is called RTP by the clearinghouse, and the second one we just got introduced is a FEDNOW, and everyone is excited about it, and I can see why the community is excited about it.
So guys, as you heard him say, the rails are already in place. And I know like in China, they have Alipay that is set up as a payment rail also. Now, all this is going to tie together a lot of different ways, and that's where the banking tokens may come in. It's connecting FedNow to the instant payments of the American banks, to Swift, to MoneyGram, to PayPal. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds of avenues, but the main rails and the money to be settled is already in place, and if it's not fully in place, they're going to get there. I also know right now that JP Morgan has rails running in and out of the repo market. And if I understand that right, the legacy banks are going to create one big liquidity pool that's going to run in and out of the private JP Morgan rails. So the bulk of the money around the world, no matter what anyone tells you, is pretty much going to run through the rails of the same players that it's running now. That is not going to change. But that's all good. I own the banking tokens. They're going to do well because there's going to be a lot of different avenues, paths, bridges, gateways, whatever you want to call it, that makes everything happen. And my personal thoughts are, guys, cross-border payments is not going to really move the needle substantially for any of these projects because of the competition. From what I see right now, there's already about 1,000 different ways you're going to be able to send money around the world, decentralized, for pocket change. But where you see the real money is the legacy banks. Like, you got to think, guys, when Coca-Cola wants to send $20 million to put a deposit down on a new plant they're going to build in a third world country or something like that, they don't want to do that decentralized. The back end may be decentralized, but they want to be able to call up the players that they use now, like JP Morgan, say transfer that money. They don't care how it gets transferred. They want it insured, and they want a safety net if something goes wrong. And if you think about it, guys, if you don't look at the small money, yes, I'm comfortable being decentralized for $5, $10, $15,000, something like that. But if you think about it, guys, when tokenized assets come to play, do you really want to swap your house for my house? Decentralized, and if we do that wrong, there's no one to call. The world wants a safety net, and we don't want to pay a lot of fees for it, and we can do the bulk of everything, but the world is going to maybe decentralize on the back end, but there's going to be one centralized gateway that makes all this happen, and the world really wants that, especially the big money. Now, that's enough of that. That's just something you just need to think about, guys, because a lot of people think there's going to be a banking reset in 5-10 years. Their banking token is going to explode. Well, it may or it may not. This is not financial advice, but I'll be unloading every single banking token I have going into the next bull run, and then we'll revisit where the technology in the world is after that. Anyway, now, what good news do we have for Hedera? Well, the founder of Link was quoted saying that what he saw and expected the future to look like is that every bank around the world will have their own stablecoin. Well, Swirl Labs is building a platform on Hedera which uses HBAR, and it is basically a tech stack for all the banks to easily issue a stable coin. It's going to be simple, secure, scalable, everything they need. And guys, if that works out, that could be the pioneering platform that creates stable coins around the world. Because I think, and I could be wrong, like right now we have a handful of stable coins. Like I use USDC, but you're probably going to use your local banks because it's going to be insured. It's going to be safe. Every bank will have a stable coin. I believe that. Could be wrong. You might even have stable coins for McDonald's. Who knows? But either way, guys, you need to understand that the so-called banking tokens, in my opinion, are going to get their share, but they're not going to disrupt anything with new rails or anything like that. Anyway, I think that is a very powerful platform being created. And for whatever this is worth, and guys, we can't verify this, but every week I listen to a podcast from the developers of HBAR, and they are constantly talking about what these major corporations that are like on the governing board are building, but they can't talk about it. Think about it, guys. It's a very competitive world. If Starbucks or Walmart or whoever is creating a platform to do something, they do not want the competition to know about it until it's too late. But every week they pretty much talk about, guys, you can't imagine the announcements that are going to come. So for me, I'm going to stack that HBAR bag, and I'm going to sell into those announcements in the bull run. That's my plan. Anyway, one of the biggest, most attacked, or for lack of a better word, places on the planet is India. India has the biggest population, and guys, fast forward, I don't know, 50 years, they're probably going to be the most powerful country in the world. I don't know. Maybe America can keep their #1 spot, but they're probably going to be, definitely up against us for a challenge with China, because they have the population and they're one of the smartest, well-educated countries in the world. And a lot of blockchains like Cardano and Algorand are over there fighting it out. I think XLM is over there. I'm sure Ripple's over there as well. But check out what Hedera has going on. There is a major corporation over there called IDS. They work directly with the governments. And the government of India right now is basically got with Hedera. Hedera's the main sponsor, and they're doing a tour, a tech tour, to help drive all of India's highly educated developers into blockchain. And they have funds available for building out new platforms and new ideas. Guys, just this tour is going to be about 7 months, and they're saying that Hedera will be getting in front of 50,000 developers, and they are really excited about what they're going to be able to fund them to do over the next couple of years. But check this out, guys. 50,000 developers sounds amazing, but the India government has partnered with IDS to fund and try to produce 500,000 engineers in the next couple of years, all to get into like Web 3. Guys, I'm telling you, India is going to be massive, and HBAR is getting their foot in the door. It's going to be powerful, guys. Now look, I know if you watch my channel, I go bull run to bull run. And why do I do that? I'm not in love with the tokenomics of HBAR. That's the only thing I wish was a little different. That being said, they use their token supply when they do unlocks to promote things like this. It's not to make everyone wealthy, and it's not for their bottom line. So it's extremely positive, but here's the thing. After every bull run, guys, they're going to keep adding to the supply, so it's going to get a pullback. So I'm not looking to hold HBAR, any of these projects, for 5 or 10 years. Not to mention with regulation and as fast as technology changes, who knows what that's going to look like. In my opinion, that's dog years. Take those profits, recalculate. That's what I do, and that's what I try to talk to my clients about in my coaching program. Anyway, now, more good news. I'm a big golfer. I play college golf, and if you look at what's going on in like Saudi Arabia and Dubai and stuff with the PGA, guys, when they want the elite athletes of the world to come to their country and play, they're going to do it. And they've got unlimited money to make it happen. Well, they are getting into soccer and baseball, football, golf, you name it, MMA. They want to bring it all to the Middle East. And Sierra World is a NFT platform. Right now they're getting into soccer, which is the biggest sport in the Middle East, with their NFTs. They have sponsored with the biggest sports and media corporation in the Mideast. So this project is going to be massive. It's not that big right now, but the players behind it have so much money, and they have a roadmap, guys. I'm telling you, 20 years from now, the whole world, I think Dubai might end up being like Vegas to the world. It probably already is if you can afford to get there. But they're bringing the biggest power players in the world, and they're going to educate them on Web3 and NFTs and all this stuff. And this is leading the way. Again, every one of these projects are down the road, have a chance to be massive. They're all pioneering type projects. And I know I'm rambling, but guys, this could be huge. And as they bring on the soccer world, then they'll bring on the golf world and the football world, the basketball world, whatever. It's going to keep growing, in my opinion. Now, the last thing I'll say, guys, one thing about HBAR and Hedera is, it's literally covering every single sector in crypto. Everything, with cutting edge utility projects, different than every layer one out there, in my opinion. The projects are very, very unique, just like what Hyundai is creating with the emissions tracking and the time stamping stuff that they've created with some of the banks. Guys, it is unbelievable. They are literally looking to put their fingers in every single sector, and they may dominate a bunch of those sectors. And one sector that they are doing well ahead of the curve, as far as I know, is the medical field. Think about your medical records, guys, the security and the volume. Just think about America, but think about the military branches. Think about, all the countries in the world securing your medical records and making sure everything's verified and time stamped, Well, Hedera has multiple projects being built on them, and one of them is really doing well. I think it's called Accure, ACCURE. They were reviewed by Coinbase. They did a big article on them talking about how it was a cutting edge technology. It's getting a lot of attention. But guys, I'm telling you, I know I sound like a shill, but Hedera has earned it. They are firing on all cylinders, guys. Now, let's take a look at the chart. If you've been watching my videos, I've been telling people, you want to get the 5-cent range, and, hopefully we can go lower, but they keep having unlocks. Right now, it's still down for the week, just a little bit. It's having a really good day. When it hit that 5-cent range, there was a lot of volume. Look at that volume. But guys, if you look at the long term, in my opinion, the best risk reward out there is HBAR. As far as the security of the risk and the upside, you start stacking HBAR around 5 cents. I have no doubt it's going to take out its old high of like 56 cents. Guys, that is a easy 10x, and I don't see why HBAR can't hit $1, $1.50, could go to $2.50. I don't know. I know that's optimistic, but for me, for whatever it's worth, when it starts to test that old high, I'll get out, because this bull run will be just starting out, and I'm going to get into the riskier stuff with my profits. That's just me, guys. But anyway, HBAR is one of my absolute favorite projects. Let me know what you think about HBAR in the comments section. If you guys, when I work with my students one-on-one, I use HBAR to compare everything. When you're looking at a project, I highly recommend you compare it to HBAR. If it doesn't have a safer risk and a substantial better upside, stack more HBAR. Not financial advice, but that just makes sense, guys. Don't FOMO into projects that can't compare. And I'm telling you, when you start to compare, you'll realize not many projects at all can compare. Now, yes, there's some that may do 100x, 1000x and all that, but the risk can't even come close to Hedera. I believe you have Bitcoin, the safest, Ethereum, and then to me, Quant and HBAR are fighting for the secure side, the downside risk, the least amount of risk for that number 3 spot. And it has a great upside. Anyway, guys, hit that like button. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And either way, come back and be part of this community, because I don't want anyone to miss the greatest opportunity to change their financial future in this next bull run. And that comes with non-biased information. Take care, guys.